shot from Hamed.
It's a knockout!
A featherweight who became a giant of boxing gets his biopic. George Clooney's move to France sparks a transatlantic row and the frozen landscape that helped Monet refine his technique. That's all coming up in today's show. But first, Brigitte Bardot has been laid to rest in the place she helped put on the map. Her funeral took place in Saint-Tropez, the Côte d'Azur village, where the actress made her home in the late 1950s. Solange Mougin has this report.
Following her wishes for a simple farewell, Brigitte Bardot was laid to rest in a wicker casket covered in sunflowers. Her fans came out to applaud the iconic actress, animal rights activist, and far-right political supporter who died at 91 of cancer on December 28. After a private ceremony, her body was taken to be inhumed and laid to rest next to her parents and her first husband. A final tour of the town so associated with her, Saint-Tropez. Earlier in the day, some 400 people were invited to attend a private religious ceremony for a woman who was once the most photographed in the world. Guests included far-right politician Marine Le Pen and animal rights activists.
She's the only person who was able to shake up people's consciousness as much as she could, and all the way up to the helm of the Republic.
Oh, she was very much an icon for the animal rights cause around the world, really, not just in France, but around the world.
Watching on giant screens placed outside the Notre-Dame de l'Assomption church and also across the small Provence town, residents and fans came to pay tribute, many with their pets in tow.
She conveyed only love, so that's why we're here, out of love.
We thank her. We're here to thank her and to pay tribute.
During the ceremony, there were eulogies and songs, including one sung by Bardot's friend, the French singer Mireille Mathieu.
For me, Brigitte Bardot is France in the world. There's only one, and there will always be only one.
The first person to model as Marianne, the emblem of France. Bardot will be remembered as a screen siren with far-right politics and a love of seals and animals.
Well, staying in France, when George Clooney and his family were recently granted French citizenship, the news made headlines around the world. The timing raised eyebrows too, because the announcement came just days before France rolled out new, tougher language requirements for future migrants. And on the other side of the Atlantic, that decision even prompted some verbal sparring with the US president. Charlotte Lamb tells us more.
Lights, camera, citizenship. George Clooney has hailed French privacy laws and wine as some of the reasons why he and his family wanted to become French, as well as the opportunity to raise his children outside of Hollywood. For 4 years, the Clooneys have lived in a town in Provence, where they say they feel part of the community. But their path to French citizenship comes just as language requirements for everyone else have been tightened under new immigration rules that took effect on January 1st. It's prompted accusations of a double standard from within President Emmanuel Macron's government, given Clooney's own admission that his French is still bad.
My French is horrible. No, it is horrible. So I'm learning, but I don't have it very good yet.
On the streets of Paris, opinions divide.
I think it's good that someone with another nationality can become French. What's more, I think it's good for France, because George Clooney is not just anyone.
That's
a problem for me because I think there are two kinds of laws. One law for George Clooney and another for people who don't have papers, who are in a very precarious situation and can't work.
I understand why he did it, especially with our current political, economic status back home.
It also triggered an online rant from US President Donald Trump, who said France was welcome to the longtime Democrat supporter and one of his most vocal critics.
Good news. George and Amal Clooney, two of the worst political prognosticators of all time, have officially become citizens of France. Clooney got more publicity for politics than he did for his very few and totally mediocre movies.
Keeping his trademark cool, the Ocean's 11 star responded, telling the Hollywood Reporter he agreed with the president on one point: we have to make America great again. We'll start in November. A reference to the upcoming US midterm elections and a not-so-subtle call to vote Democrat. The Clooneys are not alone in wanting a French passport. Hollywood director Jim Jarmusch told French radio he was also applying and wanted a place to, quote, escape the United States.
Well, meanwhile, here in the French capital, much of Paris has been blanketed in snow in recent days, and the pure white landscapes have seen plenty of amateur photographers trying to capture the moment. Scenes that recall paintings by a certain impressionist, in fact, Claude Monet. Far from the sun-drenched gardens of Giverny, Monet also did many fascinating studies in winter. Amid ice, frost and a frozen Seine, he painted a series that changed his career forever. Take a look.
When we think of Monet, what comes to mind?
Un pique-nique au soleil.
Des coquelicots.
À des plages normandes.
In short, his work is timeless sunshine on canvas. Yet there is another Monet who danced with winter, whose brushes captured the hush of snow, the sparkle of frost and the slow drift of ice along the Seine. One example is Ice Flows, painted in the winter of 1880. At the time, Monet was 38 and very much a struggling artist. His paintings were barely selling, and to continue working, he had to leave Paris. He chose Vétoy, a village perched on the banks of the Seine, northwest of the capital.
When Claude Monet arrived in Vétoy, he rented a house on the edge of the road to La Roche-Guyon. He took his equipment and set off on adventure, so to speak, because here he was surrounded by the Seine, chalk cliffs and hillsides.
But happiness was fleeting. Camille, his wife and muse, was gravely ill, and she passed away just a year after their move. Winter crept into Monet's life as surely as it did across the north of France. Let's imagine what a weather report would have been like at the time.
December 1879, freezing cold, minus 24 degrees recorded in Paris. The Seine even froze over. Today, temperatures are back above freezing, and as you can see, my attention is focused on the Seine, which will be carrying ice for several days. With these large blocks of ice, it's strongly recommended that you bring your boats and ships to shelter.
To immortalize the thaw, Monet braved the danger in his boat. That was also his workshop.
It's actually a large boat. He had this relatively big wooden cabin fitted to it so he could paint, eat, sleep and rest. He simply sailed between these enormous floating ice floes.
And it was then that, for the first time, his paintings contained no human presence. He was captivated solely by nature's mood, the interplay of water, ice and light, which led him to develop an entirely new technique.
He uses horizontal brush strokes for the water, whereas, conversely, these large blocks of ice are painted with a more textural brush stroke that really conveys a sense of materiality.
With the ice flows repeated 17 times, Monet inaugurated the concept of a series. This principle would guide his future masterpieces, including the famous water lilies, each capturing nature's fleeting moments of beauty.
Well, now to a film which brings the life story of star boxer Prince Naseem Hamed to the big screen. Giant follows the rise of Hamed in the 1990s in Sheffield, as he went on to be named world featherweight champion a number of times. The film focuses on his relationship with mentor and coach Brendan Ingle, who in this film is played by Pierce Brosnan. The former James Bond actor was on the red carpet for the Giant premiere in London, as well as Prince Naseem himself. Here's more from them and a look at the film.
I watched it and I tried to enjoy it like anybody would do. But it's an interesting film. I do still appreciate the fact that they're making movies about me right now. And it feels good.
You could be champion of the world. I would give every inch of my heart. If he can fight like this now, his size, his age, who's going to stop him when he's a man?
There he is, the new Ali. Ali Farber, more like.
It's working.
It's hardly an Adidas commercial.
Show the bastards you're better than them.
I've been ready for years.
I saw this great man box and went backstage and met him and met Brendan Ingle, never knowing that I was going to end up playing this man. Full circle.
Well, we'll leave you with a show that's bringing the action, comedy, romance and melodrama of Indian cinema to the French capital. Bollywood Masala is on stage at the Palais des Congrès in Paris. It's an explosion of colour, choreography and some of the most famous songs from recent Bollywood hits. The storyline even takes in Indian cuisine. We'll leave you with a look at that performance. Otherwise, do join us here next time on Arts 24. There's more news coming up just after this.
हुस्न तेरा तौबा 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 तौबा